Hello, it's Jennifer from Sea Lemon. You might remember a while ago I started upcycling thrift store books. They were a fun, low-cost creative challenge, and I still have some left, so I want to pick up where I left off on this series, exploring more ways to flip unwanted, mass-produced books. Starting with this small book of magic tricks. When I look for books like this to upcycle, I usually like to incorporate the past life of the book into its new life. So when I saw this, it had magic and card tricks, and I thought that would be a fun challenge to carry over that theme in the new book. I also like the size and the condition of this book. It doesn't seem very used, and it was heavily discounted from $3 to 99 cents. So I don't think anybody really wanted this because that's why it ended up at the thrift store. I really like the marbled pattern on the end pages. I like these colors, and the pages are all in good condition. The binding itself is in good condition. There are a lot of unique borders on the pages, lots of imagery relating back to magicians and magic and old-fashioned visuals. So I didn't really want to tear this book apart. There are so many fun pages and it's all intact. So my idea was to make an altered book. If you don't know what that is, it's basically transforming the existing pages of a book into something of your own. You don't have to change the binding or the paper itself, but you can add mixed media, you can cut up the pages, you can turn them into sculpture, you can express yourself in any way you want to on the pages. You can make it an art journal, a junk journal, a glue book, and you can also work within the theme that the book already has. Since there are so many interesting patterns and visuals in the pages, I thought that would be perfect for this book. I was thinking this could be like an Alice in Wonderland theme book where you could make artwork relating to that story on these pages. There's also an old world celestial vibe to the pages with the sun, moon, globe, and stars. So that could be a theme to later put on top of these pages in artwork or journaling prompts. I'm not sure what to do on the back yet or the spine of the book. If you have ideas, let me know. But for the front, I want to add a piece of this starry pattern paper onto this title area. This also came with a dust jacket, which I think helped keep it in good condition. But this dust jacket could also be cut into ephemera that I could then glue to the pages or keep for a bookmark or something else. I want to keep the border and this celestial kind of upper visual here, so I'm going to cut around that, and I'm only cutting with a bit of pressure that's just enough to remove the top paper, but not cut through the board underneath. Now I'm going to use this as a template to cut out on my patterned paper. Now I'm using an extra strength glue stick, one of my favorites because it doesn't cause warping on my paper and it's super easy to use. I'm using that for the paper to glue down, and this is creating like an inlay on the cover so there's no paper edge sticking out. And I used an adhesive eraser to rub off any dry bits that were hanging out on the glossy part of the book cover. I've had these mini corners on hand for a while, and I finally think I found the project to use them on, so I'm going to add these silver mini corners to the corners of the covers. They're not totally necessary, but they do add a little bit of protection, but I'm using them more for decoration, and they kind of tie into the silver stars. Now for the inside, I'm going to show you a few ideas you can try for altering pages of a book. To be honest, I am a beginner to altered books, and so these are definitely beginner friendly, and I think they are simple to use if you're just starting out like me. If you want to cover up a part of the text and add your own drawing or journaling, you can take a piece of paper and use some interesting washi tape to put it down, or you can also glue it down. With tape or a sticker, it can work on two sides, so you have a flip up and you can put extra information on the bottom to reveal something if you want to. Now I'm going to try tipping in an additional page, and for this I'm going to my original first junk journal and getting a piece of paper which I think would work well in this book. You can go check out this video to see how I made my first junk journal, and it also includes tips for beginners. If you're curious, you can use paper that you already have on hand to give it a try. There's no one way, and this is more of a modern take on it, but it can be at any style or aesthetic that you prefer. I thought this Victorian kind of embellished red paper would go well in this book, so I'm going to cut it to the same size as the pages in the book. And then I'm going to what is called tip in the page. So on the edge of the new page, a really small section, I'm going to put some glue. I'm doing glue stick, but you could also use PVA glue, and press that into the center fold of a spread. For this specific book, I don't want it to get too bulky, so I wouldn't put too many extra paper or pages into this book, unless you want that bulky look. I don't want that bulky look on this book, but a lot of people actually do like chunky, bulky, altered book journals. After it's dry, you can see it blends in like an additional page, but since it is glued to the page below it, it is sort of like the way the end pages open, which is just slightly, like this. So it's glued to the page below it, but it still functions just the same. I thought the dog on the page below this one was super cute, and I want to reveal that. So another idea you can try is making cutouts to reveal things on the pages below the new page. And you can do this on any page, really. The heart kind of ties into the playing cards, so going along with the theme here. Another idea, if you like the contents page but don't want the titles of the original pages, you can use a whiteout pen or whiteout tape and just cross them out and write your own while still keeping the page numbers. To cover any text or any visual on an existing page, you can try gesso or mix it with acrylic paint. I've also tried just acrylic paint, but I tend to prefer gesso because it leaves a really matte finish, which is easy to write and draw on. I'm using a brayer to make a flat, smooth finish, but you can also try a paintbrush. On this example, I'm doing just one coat because I want that look of the text coming through, but if you try more coats, you can, of course, cover the whole thing. It's a way of muting the background while giving an interesting canvas to draw or write on. I did try this method out on old blank planner pages, and you can see this whole video about it. I experimented with number of coats to see what the paper felt like and how much coverage there was with gesso. I also tried mixing it with acrylic paint, which is a good way to use old acrylic paints, by the way, and that gave me some color backgrounds to then reuse and upcycle old pages that would otherwise stay blank and never used. So if you want to check out that video, I will also link it in the description. I do have a deck of playing cards that could work well with this book. I could use them as bookmarks or include them in additional pages, maybe make a pocket for them. I was also thinking, how cool would it be to make this as a kit to give someone as a gift? So if they were really into magic or some kind of movie genre, this would be fun to experiment with and just have a book where they can explore that theme and writing and drawing on the pages. I think the fun part of making an altered book is to decide what to keep and what to cover, so the edit part of the process is fun to me. I like some of the titles, but then also want to put or allow someone else to put their own spin on what the pages could be. If you've ever made your own version of an altered book, I would love to know any tips you have in the comments below. If you'd like to check out more upcycling ideas for old books or book thrift flips, makeovers, go check out this playlist right here. It's also linked down below, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next one. A big thanks to my patrons and members for supporting this channel. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next one. Bye!